by Abdul Tijani Ahmed. But who directed it? A.K. Mason. My Flicks to Click fans. What happens when you have money? When you are privileged to be rich, but then tragedy happens to you, my Flicks to Click fans. The writer of this movie and producer as well, Abdul Tijani Ahmed, as well as the production manager, Nora Awolowo. Hey, my Flicks to Click fans. In this modern day Lagos, when Fikayo Holloway, played by Folu Storms, do you know what she did? Okay, I'll tell you. This young lady, she comes from a very, rich family. She's a journalist, but surprisingly, even though she comes from a rich family, she's principled. She is driven. She's ambitious. She wants to make a name out of her family's legacy and influence. She wants to be known as a woman on her own who was able to make a name for herself. It is not just the family name. She doesn't want just the family name to be with her when she has not achieved anything. But guess what? Fikayo Holloway's life is going to change when her best friend called Venita, played by Omowunmi Dada, dies under mysterious and violent circumstances. Hey, I've been a criminal syndicate, my Flicks to Click fans, as this tragedy happens to Venita. That is the beginning of the Wahala for Fikayo Holloway, played by Folu Storms. And so, this journalist, this wannabe journalist's journey, it begins because Fikayo, she refuses to give up. She pours herself into investigating that syndicate that was responsible for her friend Venita's death. And she starts to investigate. At the beginning, she's getting small leads. She hears about corruption. Of course, now, before Uncle, she hears about unregulated money. And she hears about the rumors that there's some powerful rich men in the shadows that are doing very, very bad things. But her boss, Fikayo's boss at the newsroom, he tells her, Fikayo, please, take care. Do you know why? Focus on topics, stories that, quickly can capture attention of people. All this one of trying to find out the reason why your friend died. But trust Fikayo. She no go gree. That is how Fikayo refuses to let go of the truth about the death of her friend Venita. She decides to investigate the death of her friend. As she follows the paper trail, that is when she begins to see clues about the red circle. She finds out that there are some hidden accounts to transfer money. She hears that, see, all these politicians, all these business leaders, all these so-called law enforcement agencies, hey, they're all connected, they all have a hand in all these criminal syndicates, but they will never ever tell you the truth. They will never admit it. They'll just continue to work in the sidelines, destroying people's lives. And as Fikayo's investigation now leads her to meet somebody called Oshisho, played by Lateef Adedimeji. She finds out that Oshisho na leader for local gang. Na dangerous man, but as people can't dey fear am, at the same time, they can't dey loyal to him. At the beginning, this Oshisho, he refuses to talk. He refuses to talk to Fikayo. But he tells her that, see, Fikayo, this gang that you are chasing, no be just normal gang. This gang, they contain rich and influential people in this Lagos. Now the elite, now powerful people, and they will do anything to protect their little circle. So, I tell you, Fikayo, better be careful before your legs and your hands get burnt by these elites that are carrying out corruption in the land. My Flicks to Click fans, what will happen when you realize that if you have power, if you have money, hey, people, all the systems will be protecting you. They'll not allow you to get into trouble. My Flicks Click fans, as Fikayo digs deeper, she now decides that she will team up with some other people. Maybe like if she can get some, honest policemen, and guess what? A hacker who will help decode all the evidence that she is currently gathering. But, of course, Fikayo, say even your own life, they safe. Because as you come they investigate the death of Venita, say your hands go get burnt because those rich people, those elites, those powerful people, politicians, they will never ever let you go away with it. And so, Fikayo starts to make powerful, dangerous enemies who can go to any length to cover up their secrets and their secret occultic life. That is how, as she now confronted one high-ranking official in an office because she was trying to ask about these gangs funding. How do they get money? How are they so influential? Instead of him to cooperate with her, do you know what he did? He threatened her and he told her to stop pursuing the story of the death of her best friend, Venita. But trust now, trust. As this movie begins to show side by side Fikayo's wealthy background and the working class world where Venita came from, he now realizes that, so much injustice there for this world. Oh. See all this media privilege because they want to make money. And so, as Fikayo tries to break through the katakata way they in house, as one day he is looking, he finds some documents that link that gang to a real business, because the business na what? Na decoy. Yes, so na decoy. And as Fikayo realizes that one powerful businessman where they operate above the law, who can they get connection for government, for police, for other business partners, is the man who is the evil man in the red circle. Yes, this is the first time she now realizes what the meaning of the red circle means. And as Timini, Egbuson, and Tobi Bakre are revealed to have personal stakes in the gang's, influence, Fikayo, are you not in trouble? Are you not in trouble? Because as you are in danger, say CCTV footage day, say audio recording day, say you get people wey fit witness that there was some insider betrayal that led to her friend being killed. And at the same time, Fikayo realizes that somebody may be leaking information to this same gang, as she now realizes that this gang called the Red Circle, their corruption is so terrible. She what? She calms down. But at the same time, her investigation attracts the same wicked group's attention. Yes, because people start following her. People start threatening her. And people want to silence her because they will instead testify for what all the bad that she did, that she found out about. And so, after weeks and weeks of digging for the truth, that is how Fikayo and her friends now connect all the dots. Do you know what the Red Circle is? The Red Circle is a powerful crime and corruption network that uses its influence to evade justice, to manipulate media narratives, and hide murders. Public shows of wealth have now become the front cover for your money laundering, for your murder killings, for your political influence. That is how this red circle and their enemies, they begin to have confrontation as well as clash. But as these printing photos, receipts, testimonies for this movie now, wow. And what all this investigation that Fikayo is doing, at what cost is it? Did she make the right decision? Her trusted allies, they are hurt. And even though people are saying bad things about her, she continues to investigate. She must decide, of course, the dilemma, whether she should go to the public with the full evidence, risking her life and those of her loved ones, or pull back to protect them. That is how Fikayo now decides to calm down. Maybe if she has a sleep, she can come back to her near normal self. As she now has to decide whether to go public with full evidence, she knows that she's risking her life and her loved ones. But as we all realize that justice, survival, the price of truth, in fact, these narratives, they are very, very important in our own normal daily life living. As there is now a dangerous confrontation when Fikayo corners a syndicate kingpin in one small location like that. That is where Fikayo's allegiance will be tested and the real consequences of her actions will be revealed. And as the gang suffers a blow, as they come, they fight now, good versus bad, evil against good. We will now realize that as Fikayo finally publishes her expose, the whole public now eventually know about the red circle. That is how the influential people are now arrested. They are investigated and they are taken to a court of law. But even as this movie, Red Circles, closes, it closes in one kind of sad manner, at least better thing don't come. Fikayo continues her work and she continues on her fight against corruption. As for the rest of the actors, let me even see what their names are. So the names of the movie, the names of the actors acting in the movie Red Circle are Folu Storms, Omowunmi Dada, Femi Branch, Buki Wright, Timini Egbuson, Tobi Bakre, and Lateef Adedimeji. In fact, by Flicks to Click fans, as these beautiful actors act in this movie, you will now realize that the CCTV footage and the audio recordings, it was beyond the scope of this meeting. That is how, as the betrayal comes, she now realizes, or should I say, Fikayo realizes that somebody is leaking information to the same wicked gang. And as Red Circle's corruption goes, infiltrating even her own newsroom, she has to wonder now, wow. Because at the same time, this group, this wicked group, the syndicate, they know that she is investigating them together with the police. And so, of course, naturally now, shadowy figures will start following her at night, threatening her network and attempting to silence witnesses before they can testify. Now, wow, now so did you be, my Flicks to Click fans. So, what is the Red Circle, Seth? Because after weeks of digging for the precious things, Fikayo and her friends, they collect all the dots. The Red Circle is a powerful crime and corruption network that uses its influence to evade justice, to manipulate media narratives, and hide murders. Public shows of wealth are front covers for money laundering, for covering up murder and political influence. That is how there will always be clashes between this syndicate or gangs, the people there, and Fikayo stream. Na so wahala go dey o, because plenty confrontation don dey. And at what personal cost will we now realize that, see, we will need to make tough decisions? This Fikayo has faced so much loss in this movie. Her trusted allies, they're hurt. And her reputation is smeared by misdirection campaigns. In fact, even her own family, they backslide into concern for their daughter. Of course, she must decide whether to go public with evidence. But this will mean risking her life and those of her loved ones. Or thinks Fikayo, should I just draw back so that you can protect them and guide them in the walk? My Flicks to Click fans, this justice, this survival, what is the price of it? This one a moral dilemma. But how about when the Fikayo now comes into face to face with this group that killed her friend in one small, very, very far location? Will she survive it? My Flicks to Click fans, some of them were killed, and the betrayal was just so much to bear from her, Fikayo. As Fikayo finally publishes her expose, her book about the Red Circle, many things are now getting exposed about the Red Circle. All sorts of rituals, all sorts of fake legal proceedings, all sorts of, mental, physical abuse to the people that are in the Red Circle. These members of the Red Circle, they are hard to find, though. They are hard to find. But see, justice is not complete. Justice is not complete because truth has momentum. As Fikayo is eventually changed by this journey of her trying to find out who murdered her friend, she is so courageous. But I'll ask you again, which one do you want? Is it truth or power? What is the cost of exposing corruption when the world is even run by the same corruption, by the same elite? How about being responsible as a journalist in a corrupt system? That one, na better idea where this movie, Red Circle, wants to show to us. How about when you have so much privilege? How about when you have been betrayed or you lose something? Are you resilient? My Flicks to Click fans, this is the crime thriller called Red Circle, about this determined investigative journalist, Fikayo Holloway, who chases the truth behind her friend's mysterious death and uncounters and uncovers a criminal and corrupt syndicate that operate in Lagos. And the more and more she goes deeper and deeper, she realizes that she has been betrayed and she's in danger. That is how Fikayo is forced to confront truth, justice, and the real cost of revealing power's darkest secrets. My Flicks to Click fans, do you know all the signs and symptoms of an abusive partner? If you don't know, go to the comment section just below this video. I have all the signs and symptoms of an abusive partner to help yourself, your family, humanity. If you enjoyed my life critical vision review of Red Circle, give me a like and watch all my movie reviews up here. Mwah.